All right.
Weapons.
What's up, Internet? Thanks for joining us for another episode of Pwede Magtanong. So, let's get to the questions. The night is young, but usually we end mga 11 or so. So, usually maraming tanong. First question from... this is the first question. So, hindi ko nakuha yung pangalan, but basically yung tanong niya, nagda-download siya, tapos ayaw niya na pumunta sa local disk C yung download. Gusto niya sa ibang drive. And paano ba to? And I know this is a very basic question for some of us, pero sa totoo, medyo nakakalito nga. So I put up a graphic. Usually, kung may save as, tapos nandito on the left side, you can see the different drives that you have, and then you can choose there. But I wanted to pose the question to the panel. Usually, yung problema dito, pag automatic na yung kung di ka sanay sa Windows settings or sa browser settings mo, parang automatic na kasi yung download folder or something. Do you guys have any tips or do you have any preference on how you where you download? Like nakaset na ba yan or you tell the computer na every time you download gusto mo tanungin ka where to save the file?
Mm, Usually, for sure, if it's especially if it's a brand new or a newly set up PC, you already have a plan in mind. So if you have a 500 gig SSD or a 1 terabyte hard drive, maybe before downloading, you already start creating folders of where you want your new games to be installed in. So you already have a direction or drive in mind.
And ako like I usually do that for games. I also usually do that for different file types. So let's say if I'm downloading images, so parang data dump yun sa isang folder, and then kung some other file types, videos, parang dun sa isang folder. Marv or Rafael, any...
May his question was ano yun, when he downloads something, baka he downloads something from browser, how does he move it to a different drive? Ganun ba
Nakalagay,
yung tanong?
nagda-download po kasi ako ng games, and nade-direct sa local disk C.
Ah.
Although, you...
No, wait. But when you download games, the default when you press the install is usually drive C. Then after you just check it. You can just switch it around, diba? Baka he was just pressing the okay. Kasi I used to install games like that, and then you would get mad at me when we were younger. And then I'd be like, yeah, you have a separate place for games. Yeah, you just select a different when you're in, if it's Steam. Because if he's downloading games, that means that's definitely Steam or Origin. You can choose which folder beforehand. So I guess it's more of like, how do you want to organize it? So some games are really meant more for SSD, like competitive games like COD, and oh yeah, and also large games like the new Assassin's Creed Valhalla. That if you can put it in SSD, yeah. So but yun nga, you need to know which hard drive is the SSD. In order to find out which hard drive is the SSD, you go to Control Alt Delete ba? Control Alt Delete. Task Manager tells you which one's the SSD.
Ideally, you
Yeah,
should
it does.
know...
Yeah, you go to Task Manager and you press Performance. It'll tell you which is the SSD. So, like for instance, my drive D says SSD, and then drive E HDD. So, you should also know if you have an SSD, which drive is the SSD.
yeah, that goes back to
On my
RJ's point na, yeah, how to organize. Marv?
so yeah, yeah, Rocky's dealt with how to download it if it's via Steam. So your Steam folders will pretty much dictate where the installation file will be downloaded and where it will be installed. Pero if he's let's for example he's doing it via GOG or other legitimate websites where you can download off of the browser, the browser will generally go to your download folder. So
What I
in the
flashed.
olden
Yeah.
times, in
Yeah.
the olden times, you can set your download folder manually in the browser. So you'd go to the settings of the browser, then you'd select a download folder. However, with Windows 10, it's pretty much there's always a downloads icon in your file explorer. You just right click there in the downloads property and there'll be a location there. So now you can set you can set the downloads folder location, which will impact the entire computer na. So whatever browser you use, or whenever someone wants to download something into the downloads folder, it will go into your chosen folder that you've selected in the downloads location. So download shortcut, right click, then location.
In default
Mm.
save
Right.
drive. Yeah.
Sorry. Hi to Nikki. Thanks for the support. She says hello, hardware sugar.
Hi,
Hi,
Nikki.
Nikki.
Thank you also for the
Thanks for
support.
buying a
Yeah,
PC.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
and and
And
your
thanks for
friend.
referring us
Yeah.
also to your friend.
Yeah. So thank you for the
Paid
support.
forward.
Yeah.
PCs in one week.
John Lloyd TV, I think from YouTube, asks, pare-parehas lang po ba ang sukat ng mga PSU? Anyone wanna take that one? If PSU
Mm,
sizes are the same?
I, without even, I would say, without even looking into it too much, I would say the width is, but there are and the height. So I think there's a standard there. But then some are longer than usual. Um, these are the ones sometimes 850 watts and above are sometimes larger. And then especially the 1000, 1200 watts ones.
Wait. Sizes? We're talking about sizes, right?
Yeah, yeah. The
Oh.
actual physical size, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. From my experience, like my 850 Corsair is slightly larger than my past 650 and 550 watts Corsairs or in NZXT PSUs.
Hindi ba ano yan? What do you call it? Manufacturers have a specific kind of model number for it. They call it the small form factor.
That's
SFX
for
ba for Seasonic?
SFF or SFX for
Yeah.
ITX builds. Yeah, those are usually smaller.
Right.
Usually
So, yeah.
most PSUs are ATX size, so they'll fit in standard
Correct.
cases. In fact, usually ATX PSUs will even fit in some M-ATX cases, but best to check. But as RJ nga mentioned, there's some slight size difference. Usually nga depende sa wattage, no? Usually the higher capacity, mas
Right.
malaki.
So even with the varying forms, it's usually a matter of length. Because of course they also have to standardize when fitting into cases.
Yeah.
So there are cases, let's say, that are full ATX size, but no matter how small or large the PSU is, it should still have the same medium for width and height.
Is that why, Anian? Is that why manufacturers for cases display the measurement for the power supply unit dun sa baba?
Right. Yes. And
Yeah.
where it's facing, sometimes especially if you're building your own PC and you want to customize it, if you want the RGB to show,
Yeah.
or if it's inverted,
Mm.
things to think about.
Next question. Okay, so that's the saving question. Actually, this one is super. This comes from a customer of the shop, and he was asking, my CPU throttles down to 0.78 gigahertz. The solution that he started using was ThrottleStop versus yung unreliable suggestion na patayin ang turbo boost from the BIOS. ThrottleStop works. Oops, thanks for may nag-share.
Oh,
JJ
thank
Reyes
you.
has shared your stream. Thank you. Di lumabas sa notifications. Sorry. ThrottleStop works and mukhang hindi naman temp-related yung issue since CPU temps are way below the red mark. So the question is it better to use apps like ThrottleStop versus going the BIOS route? Yun nga, so basically yung problem niya, nagsa-throttle down yung CPU. Parang at startup if I remember, I think I recalled asking him when it throttled down. Pero, ayun. Have you guys experienced this before? Throttle down to 7.78 gigahertz?
Not that
So
low.
low.
Yeah, it's a bit low. It seems like, of course, again, there are several factors from my experience. One would be definitely when that is happening, especially to that level, uh, it's gonna be prone to overheating. That's why it really throttled down that far. So maybe there's a lot of dust. So you is this a laptop, desktop?
Parang
Laptop?
desktop.
Oh, desktop. So maybe the thermal paste isn't enough, or maybe the thermal paste that was reapplied was a bit too much or on the wrong area. Very minimal differences can affect heat dissipation. So that's basically it. It's really the lack of heat dissipation that triggers the throttling. And then one could be maybe his registry settings are off for some reason. Maybe he got some malware that's throttling it down. That can be fixed by visiting regedit. There are numerous guides online. And then maybe and lastly his power settings. Maybe it's like uh it's at the lowest or bare minimum, which is power saving, and maybe he's trying to play very CPU or GPU extensive game with power saving mode, and it's not balancing well. So yeah, a lot of factors can play into hand.
I actually thought it was the thermal factor at first, but he checked it, and then his temps daw are way below the red mark eh. So parang but you're saying, RJ, baka incorrect application of thermal paste, so hindi maganda yung dissipation. So parang it'll go to
Yeah,
red right away.
that's one. The CPU is doing its best, or the motherboard's doing its best for it not to shut down, and shutting down is already the last line of defense. So when it shuts down, that means it went way above, let's say 90, 100 degrees. So yeah, it could be just an error in application, or just really bad heat dissipation.
Uh, on my part, I'm just trying to figure stuff out. So if he used ThrottleStop, which is a software fix, and it fixed the problem, then it points to the problem being a software issue.
Like configuration
Now,
wise.
yeah, I think I saw something a while back about certain Windows updates screwing up with these matters. So he might want to check if he's updated to the latest version, because he could have updated to a bad update, then he stopped updating. So it could be that I, I can't find it now, but I remember reading up on that. There was a Windows update that pretty much screwed up power management. So it could be like RJ mentioned about power management. So but it could be something that he didn't touch. It was something that Windows did. But definitely, I would think on his question about ThrottleStop, it's not normal behavior for your PC to go down to that low. So ThrottleStop is a band-aid. If at all, you shouldn't rely on temporary fixes like that. Rather, you should find the real problem and find the permanent solution. So you can try the various suggestions that RJ suggested, as well as updating your Windows version.
We did actually have a customer who reported na he updated Windows, yung automatic Windows update. Tapos, binago ni Windows yung GPU settings niya. As in, mismo yung clock ng GPU. Which is the first time ever na I heard about it. But it changed the clock setting. So, the CPU started crashing in COD. So,
That's how important the clock is.
well, the clock tells it basically how fast to go, along with how much power you're
Oh,
dumping.
I thought
Dumping.
I thought he meant like the Windows.
No, not the Windows
clock.
clock.
I was like,
the
who cares if it's 2 p.m. and it's 3 p.m. diba?
2 a.m. Tulog na. There, your computer's telling you to call it a day, man. Yeah, so I don't know. It could be a Windows update. Although to be fair to this customer, the one who asked about the ThrottleStop, mostly though it happens in laptops because it's trying to do power saving. So that goes back to what RJ said na
Right.
there could be some kind of power setting issue. Na it's using very minimal power kasi nga it's trying to save power. But usually nga that's more in laptops because that's where power saving is critical. In desktop naman naka-plug in ka. So actually very Very rare. To be honest, I'd never heard of it before. And I told the customer nga na first time ko ma-experience yung ganon. Especially to that extent na bumagsak from, I mean, you say 3.8 gigahertz for a modern CPU, tapos babagsak to less than 1 gigahertz. Parang very
Oh,
uncommon.
it's sorry to add, just like a last bit. I do remember, I do recall going through something similar when I did poor overclocking, or when I tried to overclock with hardware I wasn't familiar with yet. So that could be one. Maybe certain settings were overclock or underclock. So maybe resetting the BIOS will just fix that.
So, yeah. So, several suggestions you can try. Although, as Marvin pointed out nga na parang band-aid lang si ThrottleStop, so you might want to get to the root issue of the PC. Peds TV from YouTube asks, ilang hard drive or SSDs ang pwede mo ilagay sa isang MOBO? Basically, as many na kaya. So, as many SATA ports or as many M.2 slots that you can fit. Although, as we pointed out before, some MOBOs, if you plug in M.2, may na-disable na SATA. So,
Yeah.
nababawasan yung total na kaya mong, total SATA ports na pwede mong gamitin. Anything else that I've missed when you want to figure out how many drives you can install?
Yeah, that you've pretty much summed it up. It really depends on the capacity of SATA ports or M.2 or uh, slots
The
the
PSU.
motherboard has.
Ay,
And
Marvin's,
yes,
yeah.
PSU.
Marvin's
So
favorite. Oh.
yes, PSU. So yeah, you can daisy chain, but I mean, even if let's say you're okay with the PSU requirement part, it still boils down to the how many SATA ports your motherboard has.
Pero it's generally not a good idea to have. I mean, why are you having so much hard drives if it's for backup purposes? It's not
Right.
really a backup if it's on the same computer. Something to consider.
Well, baka
Baka
naka-raid.
Well, there.
I mean,
baka
just
maraming installation ng Modern Warfare.
yeah.
Dedicated drive.
How many drives do you guys have? I have 3.
I have
I,
4.
At
I
my
have
peak,
3.
I had
I have 4.
4. At my peak, I
I
had
have
4.
4.
So, yeah,
But
since
mine's partitioned.
like
No,
real
they're
drives.
physical drives, dude.
Yeah.
3
I
drives.
Yeah.
3
I have
drives, dude.
4.
3 drives.
Yeah.
So, yun, I mean, well, that's interesting that all of us have like 3 or 4. Parang talaga, you can see the kind of users
These
we
are
are.
carried over. I think my HDD is easily going 6 years now.
Wow.
7 years? I don't think.
Yes.
Speaking of old stuff, not related naman to the question, but lots of people keep asking about my Altec Lansing speakers. Like I don't even talk about them. I just post a picture like of the product, which is actually it's supposed to be the Asus stuff. But people always ask about the speakers, and my speakers are like going 15 years now. In fact, these belong to my sister, and she didn't use them anymore, so I got them. And so ever since I've been using it. And anyway, I was just researching yesterday that Altec Lansing went into Onion, had some financial problems 4 years ago, and they got bought out.
Oh,
But that's also probably why we don't see them anymore in the market. But it's really sayang. I mean, I just realized how much of a fossil what I'm using right now, and
they
it's
made
still good
really
shit.
good stuff.
Yeah,
Altec
yeah, yeah.
Lansing
I
is a
remember
good
yours
brand.
specifically. Yours is loud.
Well,
I could
yeah,
hear it from outside.
I had two. I had one without the subwoofer, and then this current one, which is with subwoofer now.
That was a big factor when you pulled me into Call of Duty.
Ah, yeah?
The sound.
The sounds
fire,
of my
yeah.
10-year-old, at the time, 10-year-old
Grabe.
speakers. Anyway.
I didn't know they went out of business or they had financial troubles.
They're still around, but then parang their new models are, well, I guess they're not as nice because they're trying to skimp. But then talaga in their heyday, Altec Lansing was the craze. It was
Right,
the
right.
best.
Next question.
Yep.
Sorry, Marv.
No, I was just going to say that nowadays sometimes it's the motherboard that's uh, hampering your sounds. I mean, like, nowadays, parang wala nang genuine. The 0.1 and 2.1, you really can't test it separately. It goes with either channel.
But do people still use ba sound cards or wala na yan? Dati kasi may nag-install ng sound card eh.
There are still
High-end
third
na lang.
party. Oh yeah, super high end na lang na ano. I think Creative Labs, the Sound Blaster, parang they revived the brand. The Sound Blaster brand.
So expensive. I think I saw a video about it.
Sobrang mahal.
Yeah.
Probably if you do recording, so it really depends on what you're using it for.
Yeah.
Here we have a question from Nathaniel, and he asks, okay lang ba tong build na to? So his video card is a GTX 1660, motherboard is also Gigabyte, Aorus B450M. Processor is an R5 3500X. RAM is also Aorus 2x8 32 MHz. SSD 480 gig, either Kingston or Gigabyte, and HDD of 2 TB. Not mentioned is the power supply unit, but I actually think this is quite a good system.
That's better than your PC, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it is.
Hands
Oh.
down. Oh, hands down.
This will do very well, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
It doesn't say what resolution and refresh
What monitor?
can be
Yeah.
playing on, but I think this will do very well on 1080p, 60
Yeah.
hertz, and I think even maybe 144 hertz for
Depending on the game. Yeah.
Yeah, Valorant, CS:GO.
Actually, most customers of the store buy this almost exact rig.
Right.
Almost exactly. Like if this guy has had it for a long time now, people are still buying it today. Almost exactly the same specs.
Yeah.
Like the availability plays a big part, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean,
Yeah.
from your
Well,
experience.
yeah, that and then in 1660 Super, I think is actually a very good valued card. if you
Yeah,
ask me.
it's a good it's in a good position even in gaming laptops. So if you go into even Data Blitz now carries a Data Blitz PC
Blitz carries GPUs na?
What?
gaming laptops.
Gaming laptop.
Gaming laptops. Okay, I was like,
Yeah,
wait, when did they sell
most
GPUs?
most gaming shops now that used to just sell
Games.
video games and consoles.
Oh,
Yeah, they carry gaming laptops now. And anyways, 1660s all everywhere basically.
Yeah, so good bang. This system is good bang for your buck. Not mentioned is the case and the PSU. You could get away with a 550 watts, maybe 650 watts gold if you're looking to upgrade later on. Upgrade your GPU and have some headroom. But overall, well, of course, not mentioned also is the price. Just also usually what other people ask kung number one, maganda ba yung specs? Number two, kung okay ba yung price? And kasi daming takot na
he hasn't
maloko.
bought it yet pala. Sorry, I misunderstood.
So you're just asking, like, anong opinion natin sa specs?
Well, the problem
Why
with that
is he buying the
B450,
China version?
that B450, parang in my experience with B450s, there's a high chance na walang ARGB header or RGB header. So depending on what case he gets, you have to make sure that the motherboard has port for the RGB and ARGB lighting if he wants.
That's true. Although it's an Aorus board, so medyo high-end naman. It says Pro Wi-Fi RGB. I don't know lang if that includes an ARGB header.
ARGB header.
Yeah.
Oo nga naman.
Spec-wise, nothing much to complain about. You're evenly balanced sa CPU and sa GPU. So, all good. Let's get the question.
Is the China version of the 3600 cheaper? I mean, why would people buy the 3500X versus a 3600X? I'm just curious.
Di ba mas mabilis si 3600X?
Yes.
Yeah, but why would you buy the 3500X? It's the China version, di ba? Wala lang. I would just.
You know, we had
it's the first time that I've.
We sold both.
Yeah, we had the 3500X and we had a customer ask us kung Philippine ano ba siya. Then when we got them, they had the Philippine AMD stickers. Tapos the box was in English. So I think
Okay.
the thing na the parang the moniker na China version, parang that's from Tom's Hardware. I think early on dun sa release. But maybe they might be releasing it in other countries na.
Well, in
Ah,
terms
yeah,
of
it's
price
on fire.
difference, the 3500X we sold it at 8,800 pesos. The 3600 was 11,350.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
So it's a little bit
Makes
cheaper.
sense. Makes sense. Makes sense.
But yeah, the customer was concerned and I remember kasi ako yung nag-take ng picture nung it's the the AMD CPUs kasi have a Philippine holographic sticker on the box, and then the box was
For
in English.
legitimacy.
Yeah, it's part of their so I was
Nice.
like, I don't know about the Chinese version, but this one paano mang
Actually, speaking of that, we have someone from Lucifer Morningstar is is asking, what can you say about so-called Korean GPUs sold here in the Philippines? Is it good enough or bad? I'm not familiar with the Korean GPU.
I am also not familiar. Anybody bought?
What are
Kayo?
Korean GPUs?
No,
Oo
but
nga eh.
I have seen
China
those.
GPUs.
I've seen those, and yeah, it gets mixed feedback from the community when someone posts about it.
Ano mga brand,
let's
RJ?
see.
Like what are the usual? Do you recall any what they're called?
I just saw one this morning. Sorry, trying to recall.
Manly, STCOM, MTech, Axel.
I've never tried.
I've never heard of these
Axel,
guys.
I've heard.
Ah.
I mean, buti yung
Well-
ibang brands like Colorful, those I've heard pa. But yung Axel or never, di ko pa
Right.
nasubukan.
It gets as long at the moment it's not a commonly or a common named brand like the say Power Color,
Wait,
Asus.
Zotac is a Korean brand?
Oh, I've heard of, we actually carry
Yeah.
Zotac. So,
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
very
talking
affordable.
about that.
Oh.
It's mainstream, diba?
reputable naman yung
Mm.
Zotac. Oh, medyo mahal
Yeah.
pa nga si Zotac compared to other brands.
Yeah, they have lines that are also high end,
Medyo
but
premium.
they can. I like them. They can also be very bang for buck, of very affordable. My first 1060 was Zota, and this was prior to the mining craze. I got it for
Oh.
$6,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and then maybe a few months down the line, people were selling it for 20.
Yeah. Well, nung sobrang lumobo, like sobrang na-inflate yung prices.
Yeah.
'Cause everybody was trying to get their hands on GPUs.
Exactly.
Crazy talaga those days. Although it's sort of like now actually with the 3000 series.
Oh yeah.
Crazy
Grabe.
times also. Sige, next question. Oh, okay. Actually, this came from a customer. Tapos yun nga, we had the massive floods last week or 2 weeks ago, and nabasa yung peripherals niya. So keyboard, mouse, camera, I forget what other stuff. And so he was asking us if we had any tips paano linisin kasi as you can see from the picture talagang may putik. Hindi lang nabasa, but I mean, the flood waters I guess really rose in their place na umabot dun sa it got really muddy. So he was asking us how to clean them, and we were like, to be honest, we don't have real world
I don't
experience.
even think the keyboard would work anymore. Diba? Well, if it still works, good.
Right.
But if like, ikaw, Mar, my experience ka ba? Yung keyboard surviving?
No, I was just going to say that I watched a video a couple of months back, right before I got a mechanical keyboard, where they put a mechanical keyboard that was dirty inside a dishwasher, and
Oh.
a lot of the test units worked.
After.
So, yeah, I would think that if it could survive a dishwasher, then it could survive a hosing
Good point.
down. Diba?
But
But sorry.
sorry, what
Sorry.
did you mean by dirty? Like how dirty were they?
The normal dirt. I think naman here the worry is about it getting wet, diba?
Nabasa na.
So,
Oo.
Yeah. So if you can dry it out after washing it immediately to avoid any rust, if that's even possible, it
This
should be good. But isn't that
this
isn't
one
that the laptop on the upper right hand?
I thought it was, but he just said itong Vio, 'di ba? Pero parang it's just he just mentioned perifs eh. So I'm not too sure what this
Is that a
one
Sega Saturn? Is that a gaming console? Looks like a PlayStation 1.
That's a PS,
It-
man.
it's
It's
like
a
a-
PS.
Yeah, PlayStation 1 yan, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a one. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
actually,
PlayStation 1.
he asked us kasi his plan was na yun nga na napasukan nung putik, and then I'll try to clean it with water and soap and dry thoroughly, and then try to use air to dry it out as much as possible. And yun nga, we had no experience kung gagana ba yun at all. So we said basically good luck, God bless you, and hope it works out. I
I did say Q-tips lang. I
uh,
said use Q-tips.
but he said na hindi kaya ng Q-tips or something. I remember na but actually, he
Okay.
got back to us just today and sabi niya gumana naman yung microphone and camera. Pero
Oh
dinisassemble
wow.
talaga niya. He took them apart. You can tell in the upper left picture. He took them apart and really dried them out. But hinugasan niya to nung water and soap.
Which one?
Eh,
The microphone and camera?
sabi niya, I'll try to clean with water and soap and dry thoroughly. So, I think
Wow.
that's, yun, he was able to salvage the microphone and camera. Oh, see, he even says he used joy and water to clean.
Intense.
So,
Nice.
yeah, he was able to save, yun,
Now
na
we know.
disassemble. Oh. So, some of that will still work. Not ideal, pero gagana naman.
I think the killer is trying to use it when there's even a little bit of moisture inside it. So
Yes.
once
I think my my advice there would be, even if you think you've already dried it enough, just wait if
Just
you can.
yeah, just leave
I
it.
mean, it's already more or less unusable. It's really, you're just praying that
Yeah,
somehow it
that's a good point.
works.
Oh, you just leave it in rice, dude. The rice thing really works.
hey,
Ah,
that's
yeah,
a good
but
idea.
I'm not sure about, let's say, a whole motherboard. Well, there are too many parts there that we're unfamiliar with. Pero yeah, I do agree. Maybe for smaller parts.
Actually, this question or inspired me na we should take an old motherboard that we know is still working, and then let's drag it through the mud and things, and then let's clean it after. Then let's see kung
Oh,
gumana. Parang test
You
ano
see,
talaga.
my problem with that, bro, is where are we gonna plug it in? You will jeopardize the other PC parts that we plug it into.
I
Ay,
vote
may...
Rockies.
You buy second hand,
But yeah,
third hand.
sounds expensive na just to test if a muddy Mobo is gonna work.
Etong GPU ko, medyo luma na. Ano,
Yan.
na,
Oh, sige,
pag-upgrade.
it's
Oh.
your stuff.
It's an
Okay lang.
excuse to buy a new one.
Yeah,
I
oh.
I vote Rockies 2080.
Yeah, oh.
I
Luma na
volunteer
yun.
my video card if you'll replace it if it breaks.
Yan.
We'll replace it but
Actually,
with same level card.
Actually, I don't know what happened, but Logitech, close to 9 years ago, had a keyboard now washable, and then their ad was you place it inside the kitchen sink, and then nila submerged lang.
Uh,
And then they stopped making the attempt to make more of those kinds of keyboards. So ngayon naging RGB instead of waterproof. So the
Water
trade-off eh. So maybe one day we'll have everything. Wireless, RGB, waterproof. Ayan, that'd be the best. Imagine, it'd be so useful if you could just wash it away.
Right.
Daming junk in between eh.
It's such a hassle to clean
That will
keyboards.
also be great for laptops, because I think that's
That's
the major problem. If
Sana
you
all.
bring that keyboard
Sana all.
technology to laptops,
Anybody
Yeah,
from Logitech or Asus is listening, or some of the other Corsair manufacturers, so get on that.
Sana all keyboard.
customer
Oh.
Yeah,
insight.
kasi ngayon, cellphone. Parang lahat ng cellphones ngayon waterproof. Wait, yung cellphone mo, Anton, waterproof na ba? Hindi pa.
I think it's resistant, the OnePlus 5T.
Ah,
But I
That's
don't.
not them.
Oh. Ibang video yun, ibang video.
Oo.
We did have some questions on the YouTube. Sorry na tabunan na, but one guy asked playthrough PH, or if gagana ba yung desktop kung walang RAM. Nope, that will not post. Yeah. So that won't work. Some other questions. Sorry, it's like na I can't do the chat. What was the other question? I'll try to find
Yeah,
it. And
Here's one question from Jaime del Rosario. So he's asking basically overall, which one's better, Ryzen 3 3200G or the 3400G? Um I don't
Onboard
personally
graphics
have,
cards.
right, the APUs. I don't have personal experience in them, but I these two, you can't go wrong with either one. But
Yeah.
if you were to pick, definitely go with the higher 3400G. From what I know, it's using the same power requirement. So it's both 65 watts, and you're getting an updated graphics driver, or sorry, chip. So this is Vega 10 or 11, as opposed to the 3200's Vega 8. And then both have, I believe, 4 cores, but the 3400G has 8 threads. So yeah, really no brainer. With a minimal upgrade, you can get farther with gaming performance and processing performance.
And the price
According to
of
this, it
yeah,
has a much faster octa-core speed, yung
Yeah,
Ryzen
there.
5 3400G.
the 3400G.
Actually, if you go to CPU user benchmarks, a head-to-head, the breakdown is there. Obviously, the 3400G is
Right.
better.
For especially for updated process heavy games.
So the price now is very competitive. Even back when it was first released, sobrang okay na yung bang for your buck value. But it's even better now kasi the
Right.
prices have slightly dropped, but not super dropped yet. Actually, I talked to our supplier about this. I asked na bababa pa ba yung 3000 series, and then he's like no kasi wala pang supply nung 5000. And even the 3000 series is running out of stock also. So it's just basic supply and demand. Ang taas pa rin ng demand, so the price is not dropping anytime soon. But the 3400G has gone down from its initial price, and it's very good value then, and it's still very good value now. El Papito from YouTube asked, advisable bang gamitin ang PC for heavy gaming during summer? And then yung room temp niya usually umabot nung 40 degrees Celsius. For me, just personally, kasi yung tingin ko, you buy the parts and you want to enjoy them. So, yeah, just run it. Yes, it'll run hot,
wow.
but you want to play. So, 'di ba? I mean, di mo binili yung part na yun para malamig siya. Binili mo para magamit mo. So, I mean, yes,
Agree.
it'll get hot, but it's designed to maintain a certain, to withstand naman some heat. But that's just me. I know some people really love their hardware and don't want to abuse it. What do you, si Rocky palagi naka-aircon yan eh, so di an issue for him. Pero,
No, I had to,
Rocky has
Arian.
some experience
I
there.
had to. Oh. Well, kasi Arian, maybe people don't know this, but you and we used to Bitcoin mine. So
sino?
I think it was.
Hindi ako yan.
I don't know. Basta at one point, nag-Bitcoin mining ako back in college. College ba yan? Hindi, law school yan.
Pero iba
That's
naman yun.
20
Grabe yung
2010.
mining. That's really,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know, no, but my PC was hot. My PC was hot, even naka aircon, and so we nakatutok yung electric fan sa PC, and the whole night it would just mine. So
That's
my
hot, it's
feelings,
noisy. Yeah.
and in the end, even though sobrang init na nga rin, I didn't have the aircon on the whole day, only at night. So during the day, that was still mining, and that graphics card. Oh, wait.
Right?
I remember now. No, that graphics card went to RJ. And and then RJ, then it lasted like, I think a month with RJ, tapos namatay.
Maybe a few months.
A few months.
And it's probably because it was also a summer.
Yeah.
Oh, yun. Cautionary tales, guys. Ako, like, I would run
Very
that thing.
extreme na yun
Pero,
eh.
yeah, medyo
But that
extreme.
graphics card, in fair, I milked that talaga for its worth. I got every single centavo and more thanks to that card.
You mean
And
you
it
earned
was
from the
a really
Bitcoin?
powerful card.
I earned from that Bitcoin.
What
Right.
was the card? 1080?
6990.
Yeah, see RJ was there.
Wow. 69.
That was really.
69.
That was like that's why I was saying that sounded like a jet. It
was
sounded
big.
like something was gonna take off from my room.
And then 2 months later, wala na, nag-crash na.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, grabe.
It's such a weird question. I mean, Summer is the best time to play games, man. What the hell?
Yes, yes, yes.
And then in the end, all naman, if the PC gets too hot, it will auto shut down naman. Diba?
Now, if you get too hot, bili ka ng Coke, mura lang yun.
Or you can, yeah. I mean, there, yeah. Sige, next, Sida, walang kamatayan RAM questions. Yung RAM ko po kasi, di ko po maklock at 2666 MHz. Enable ko na po yung XMP, but when he enabled the XMP, my PC keeps looping upon boot up every try. I'm sorry, he has not enabled XMP yet because every time he tries, the PC keeps looping upon boot up. To be fair, this is a bit different from the usual RAM questions we handle. I actually wanted to ask him like all the XMP profiles. You experienced that looping, but hindi ko siya na follow up eh.
Oh, well, okay. So I have a lot of experience here, sadly.
Oh, okay.
So
Take over.
my advice would be first to check to go back to the manual, so you can just find it online of your motherboard. So see if you just double check if the RAM you purchased, the RAM model is under is that CSL or I forgot.
QVL, Qualified Vendor List.
Right.
QVL,
See,
yeah.
so in that list, you're gonna see all the, I would say, approved or all the RAM sticks that have been tested and have been tried and tested running in that for that motherboard, and it will show you if one, it can be overclocked if it has an XMP profile, and two, if it doesn't. Now, if it does, great. So now you've narrowed it down to, it can be your firmware from my experience. So I had trouble overclocking to the advertised speeds. One 3200 MHz RAM set, but upon checking my firmware, sorry, my BIOS version wasn't up to date. So I updated it, and well, actually, it was already okay. It was running. So maybe that's one. Maybe just make sure that your firmware is your version, your BIOS version is the latest. And yeah, that's actually from my end. That could be. Sorry, last one is that um if it's the very first time you install these RAM sticks, and it's giving you a black screen, but the PC itself is running, that means it's just cycling through with the brand new settings that you configured the sticks to. So give it some time. It can take more than one, more than two cycles, and it'll come back to normal if it didn't work, or it will push through with the XMP profile.
Yeah, my thing also would be to update the BIOS, and to check nga if the RAM that you got is certified compatible with the MOBO that you got.
I have an in. I want to pull out the question from Dean Mark Recto. Sir Rafael, anong speakers yung gamit mo dyan? Yung napapanood namin sa mga videos mo. So I answered this kanina, but because I saw this question, I decided to get the actual model number, and I realized the actual date. So these speakers are 17 years old. Altec Lansing 221 model. So it's amazing. I'm really using a relic. 17 years old.
Pero still good.
Yeah, I never even thought that I actually needed to change them. Every time I think about what do I need to change? Oh, new graphics card. New monitor. New keyboard, new mouse. Never in my wildest dreams. I just got so used to them being there. They sort of just vanished in my mind, but I know that they're always going to be on. So yeah, can you imagine 17 years? That is Like you could have had a child, and then he's about to reach what you call that. Yun, are allowed to drink na, and then still
Barely
be using the speakers. I mean, really? Yeah, diba? It's crazy.
We had a
Wait,
question. Barb, go.
at the risk of rewarding bad behavior, I'd like to pull a question from the chat.
Oh.
From Liza Soberano 666. Nagagalit na eh.
Okay.
Sagutin daw natin yung tanong. Magkita tayo magchika. But on the off chance that she is Liza Soberano, I will answer the question. She asks if the recommended minimum PSU for her rig is 650, what would happen if she buys 800 watts? Nothing.
Not yeah.
You're good. Or you can just, rant on Facebook and maybe someone will give you one for free.
Wait, so she has a rig, and then the recommended was 650. Then she was thinking of going with an 800, and then the
Yeah.
question was, okay ba yun?
Yeah, I mean, there's no ano naman eh. There's really nothing.
There's no downside except more
Except
money
for
out.
money.
Yeah, except
Yeah.
for money out.
Yeah,
yun
it's essentially a upgrade path. You're future proofing. Like for instance, the new graphics cards, they require like around 750, sometimes 1000 watts. I have customers asking 1000. I don't even know where to get 1000 watts. Hanggang 850 lang kami. But like if your PC is working fine, it won't get a boost in efficiency just because you have a higher wattage. In fact, nga, what's going to happen inside that PC is it's going to be forwarding the electrical power supply at the same amount. Kasi your PC only needs the same amount regardless of what power supply unit is in there. Did I get that right? That makes sense.
Yeah.
If your PC only needs 400 watts, tapos you have a 500 and 800 watt power supply, the 500 and 800 power supply will just give that 450 watt PC the same juice.
Yeah. As
Yes.
long as it's both rated. I mean,
Yeah.
as long as one is
Yeah,
not a
that's true.
generic one that's pulling excessive
Yeah.
current to the wall.
Go, yeah.
Well, Liza said thank you, Marv. So that is the real.
Nice.
Yeah. Next question. This one actually isn't a question. So he bought the TechWare Forge M, and he was nice enough to send the case specs. And he was asking, so I bought this case, yung TechWare Forge M. Tapos bumili ako nung 3 extra fans. Tapos may kasama ng 4. So I have a total of 7 extra fans. And then his question was, saan ko ilalagay, what's your recommended position for those fans? Yung intake, exhaust, top, front, back, rear, whatever. Saan ko ilalagay? So sabi ko, yung maximum ng case mo, 6. Tapos may 7 ka. So basically, just install all of the fans. Tapos good to go ka na. May extra ka pa. So there really wasn't a question here. It was just more like I included it para... Sometimes there's no need to overthink, guys. It's sort of like the PSU question. Recommend sa'yo 650 watts. You want to get 800 watts. PC building is technical, but it's also good na not to be too pressured and don't overthink things. Yung case na yun, kaya niya 6 fans maximum, nakabili siya 7 na yung fans niya total. You don't need to ask anymore saan niya ilalagay. Salpak mo lang yan lahat, then you're good to go, right? I mean, you have the fans naman to cover all of the slots. So relax lang. It should be a fun hobby. It's not you don't need to overthink everything like, oh my god, I need to get the extra plus 2% performance kasi tamang yung saktong-sakto talaga yung GPU ko tsaka yung CPU ko or yung XMP settings or just relax, have fun. You bought your GPU so you can game kahit summer, kahit tag-ulan, stuff like that. I mean, just sometimes
Tagulan.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't
Yeah.
game with it if it's flooding na. I would have, pulled that out.
You can wash it naman daw. Kaya naman eh.
Oh, nga no.
Mabuhay pa eh. So just a quick you should have fun. Some questions you don't need to overthink some of the things about PC building. Next question. So this is a different guy actually. Ano po dapat i-consider when you're buying a case fan? Then I answered sizing. If you need 120, 140. Cooler Master actually has 200 has a 200 mm fan, which we have on stock at Hardware Sugar if you need something that large. Sizing RGB if you want ARGB and RGB, or if you don't want RGB at all, and power. Like how are you gonna power those things? Kung fan header sa Mobo or fan hub or things like that. Splitter. I just wanted to ask the panel if you have any. What do you guys consider when you're thinking of putting extra cooling dun sa rig, dun sa system ninyo?
Case fan.
Case fans.
Well, yeah, it's very simple from my view. If you what matters to you more, if it's let's say lighting, if it's as you mentioned, would you like it uniformed or is it something more of speed? Do you want it quiet? So, quick questions like that will narrow down what you want, and then purchase as you wish. But overall, a tip in purchasing a fan would be let's say it has it how do I say this? I'll just make sure. Let's say you don't need adapters. I mean, this goes to old fans, I guess. Like if you need Molex splitters or
Yeah.
Molex extenders, I've had to Band-Aid solution certain ones. So yeah, just make sure there are so many fans out there now. Actually,
Yeah.
there's way too much to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're in that world now where aesthetic is king. So um just have fun in selecting.
Rafael has shown us his NZXT, but
Ayun, no?
that's
Intake.
that's a part of the case.
That's the radiator fan.
Are those the rad fan? No, kasi his case
It's
AIO
not.
is Corsair.
That's upstairs. It's up there, ba?
Yeah, yeah. So top yung
So
those are the
case
case.
fan.
Yeah, those are the NZXT case fans. Pero non-RGB because you didn't get the
Oo.
700i version.
Right.
Or the
Actually, to be honest,
Elite.
I don't mind. I don't actually. I was like, am I missing out ba on all the fun na hindi RGB yung fans ko? Kasi yung RGB lang is yung AIO.
Yes.
And then the RAM sticks.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
but then I was like, ade, okay na ako. Look at what I can see naman from my
Yun
from my
nga,
desk.
kasalanan mo
It's
yun
covered.
for orienting it like that. Everybody
Okay. Daming nagko-complain eh.
Oo,
But I
dami.
was like, okay lang sa akin. So it's okay. I think I'm okay if my fans are just as long as they work. But it's really personal. Like people get really affected about it. Like when we're building PCs, they're like, gusto ko ano yan, I think no. In fact, there was this one guy. We built his PC na, and then he saw the PC, and he was like, "Ay, baka kailangan pala ng RGB."
RGB.
Parang they get so shocked eh. Like they know that now, walang RGB.
Okay lang.
Then they see the PC, then they're like, bakit
Kulang.
ganun? Yeah. Talaga,
Kulang.
bakit yun lang? Parang iba yung na-expect ko. And then so maybe their idea is if you have an RGB, it's the greatest PC, or rather it's top tier na. It's a statement piece.
Plus 20 FPS.
So yeah, plus FPS. Yeah, especially if it's color green. Oh.
Akala ko
mas
red.
malamig.
Di ba red performance?
Yeah, but if just to give general advice, I would just get all the deep cool RGB fans because they're cheap, and then you can, if your
And they
case
look
allows a lot of if your case allows a lot of fans, that is a cost-effective way to fill it up with all the fans, even though it's a cheaper brand. But siguro na, diba, I think I don't have any problems with deep cool effectiveness. Diba, we have no problems with deep cool, like the fans spin well enough, the RPM.
We haven't had any complaints. Actually, Pao from the chat did mention RPM as another factor
RPM.
to consider when buying fans. Although, to be honest, ako personally, I di na ako tumitingin sa RPM because I just assume most of the fans run at around 1.5, 1.7. I also
Right.
don't look at noise. Some people are very particular about decibel levels for the fans. I don't look at that anymore. Because to be honest, I probably won't hear them, or if it's just a whine in the background and you're gaming with all the gunfire, I really probably won't hear that anymore. And I'm getting old, so the range that I can hear is dropping. So ganun din eh. So hindi ko rin talaga marinig. But some people are particular. So it's about noise level. Then I want to say hi to STEM teacher PH, who is actually a long-time subscriber of us on YouTube, and he's in the chat now. So,
Hello.
hello. Ayun. So a lot of things to consider. Actually, somebody else also in the chat asked, what brand do you guys recommend for non-RGB? Ako, I like the Be
Be
Quiet
quiet.
ones. Yeah, I like
Me also.
I like the Be
Yeah.
Quiet ones.
Straightforward.
Yeah, yung performance and very quiet. A little pricey, but you get what you pay for. And of course, you have the Noctua. Noctua's always good.
Yeah.
For cooling, parang yan na yung go-to answer. If you can't think of anything, Noctua, it will be good. It will work forever, and parang basically,
Gold
walang-
The
standard.
problem,
yeah.
the problem with with the fans you mentioned is walang RGB lahat yan, no? Be Quiet and Noctua fans don't have RGB, period.
Yes, yeah,
right?
that's right.
So,
Yeah.
yun. That's the problem. When people ask us, what fans do you recommend? Oh, yeah, these are the best fans, but they don't have any RGB. And so they're like, oh, shit.
Can you use those
Oh.
halos on compatible ba yung mga halo lights on these other brand
Yes.
fans?
You you can stick
Yeah.
them on any standard
120
120
mm,
yeah
120
There
140.
you
mm.
go. Be quiet plus
Yeah.
a halo light.
That's Phanteks Halos. Yeah.
Collab.
Yeah. And actually, we've had a couple of customers who did that. It works pretty well. For those who aren't familiar with the Halos, basically it's just a frame that sticks onto the fan. Pero yun may RGB na yung frame. So parang may RGB na rin yung fan mo. So yeah, that's actually a very good workaround if you want to use Be Quiet or Noctua with the Halos. Although we're out of stock, matagal na kaming out of stock sa Be Quiet, matagal na rin kaming out of stock sa Phanteks
Noctua.
Halos. No, actually the Noctua we just got in yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Well, actually, one other problem I could think about with respect to the Noctua is Noctua has a signature color scheme of brown and white,
yeah.
which really ticks off a lot of people. They want white lang, white build lang, or black build lang. And then what are we gonna do with the brown? But it's really so sayang because their air coolers and their fans are really top notch. In fact, I just really associate that brown and white to a premium fan because of Noctua. But people take it the wrong way. They're like, ano yan?
Paint it.
Yeah, paint. I want to say paint it na lang.
They do have the Chromax now, pero just Chromax
Yeah,
black. It's
But the
just
Chromax
from brown
is
to black.
difficult to get. It's because everyone gets it.
We do have on stock now Chromax for anybody who's
Oh, wow.
looking.
Get it before.
Yeah, maubusan. We have NHD15 Chromax available and NHU12S na Chromax.
Wait, NHD15 is a good buy.
It's like the DRP4. It's like one of those big boy coolers na you need to
Yeah,
make
yeah,
sure
yeah,
kasha sa case mo.
Massive.
But yeah,
Yeah.
super large. My personal rig now uses a Noctua, but di ko na maalala what model. Sige, next question. Okay, this is the one super hard also. So the question was nagda-drop po nung from 3.3 volts to 2.9 volts. So I asked him the total voltage entering your computer, usually 3.3 tas bumabagsak to 2.9. Tas sabi niya, yes, gamit ko po yung gigabyte SIV, which I assume is the voltage what he's using to monitor the voltage. Pati yung 12 volt nagda-drop sa 10.7. And to be honest, and I have no experience with this at all. I don't monitor my.
Oy, Chev Go just gave us $250. Thank you.
Thank
Chev.
you.
Oh, thank you, Chev.
Yes.
And this
God
is
bless.
this is not Chev's first time donating. I think this is the second time. So thanks, thanks very much. And thanks also for buying from the shop. Actually, Chev is a loyal customer of Hardware Sugar.
Awesome.
Ayun, so I don't monitor my voltages like this. And ayun, so I really have no experience with this kind of
However,
thing.
if I may, you should be able to. Wait, what's this? Okay, sorry. Kala ko ano yun, you're talking about your wattage. I was like, I gave you a voltage.
I know,
wattage counter.
I have it here. I have
You
it here.
haven't used it.
Yeah. No, I haven't used it yet. But ito,
Yeah.
wattage meter. Oh.
Hmm.
Well, actually, yung ano niya, ano na siya eh, it's outside the ATX range. You're only supposed to deviate from 3.5 and 12, plus minus 5%. And
Oh, layo
both
na.
2.9 and are exceeding. However, Gigabyte SIV is a software tool. So it relies on the motherboard sensors. And apparently, motherboard sensors, while okay, aren't
Super.
always reliable. Sometimes motherboard sensors fail. So the
Right.
best way to test if your PSU is working is, if you're a bit adventurous and don't have a lot of money, just use a multimeter. And then you can check it there.
But is that the one
Or
that you need to ano? It has it has two sticks and then you ano?
yeah, the one with two sticks.
Right.
Oo.
Or you can usually buy a PSU tester from Lazada or Shopee. So that can test that one. You just have to plug it in. It's a little safer.
Oy, okay yan ah. How come we don't have PSU tester?
We do.
You can
Yeah.
borrow.
Oh, we do?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Gerald uses it.
Okay.
And actually, we had a customer return a PSU just this week because he said na ayaw gumana, like it wouldn't turn on. So we're like, yeah, no problem. Alam mo naman, no BS warranty si Hardware Sugar, just bring it in. He brought it in, and then actually pumunta pa siya sa isang well-known shop sa Alabang, and I won't say the name because it's bad form. But this one, it's a well-known PC shop, and they said also it wasn't working. And then nung binalik ni customer sa shop sa Hardware Sugar, okay, we couldn't find any problem. The PSU was working 100%, would start up, and then we ran it on load just to be sure. We tested it. We ran it for several hours. We tried to break the thing. We tried to stress test it, and nothing. It really wouldn't break. So and then so the customer asked me, "What do you think went wrong?" And then sabi ko na, well, usually what we say is, and no offense to your technical but just usually we just say na sometimes the power cord is not plugged in properly or nakapatay yung PSU switch. So you think it's on, you're trying to turn it on using the PC case on switch. Buti the customer didn't take offense, and then sabi ko, well, the big PC shop, basically walang pake yun eh. Wala naman siyang incentive to do proper testing kasi hindi naman galing sa kanila. But
Buy from us.
diba? I mean, but ayun, so we really tried to test it, and we also used the PC the PSU checker, the tester. So we do have one for our staff use. But yeah, we really couldn't find anything wrong with this thing. And I think the customer was coming today or tomorrow to pick it up again.
Okay. That's good naman. At least he
Yeah.
acknowledged.
No, he was super cool about it, in fairness. And yun nga, I just wanted, when I was emailing him, I just wanted, I really no offense meant. These are just like the common things we see. How come the PSU won't turn on? But when we try it naman, okay naman siya.
Well, when we were installing the RTX 3070, wait, what do I have?
The 37
3070.
ASUS stuff.
Ah.
Thank you, ASUS,
Yeah.
for
Oh, thanks, ASUS.
lending us that.
Yeah, when we were installing the 3070, ayaw mag-on yung PC, and then apparently I forgot to flick the switch. It's like, oh my god, it won't even turn on! Yun ang hirap dyan.
It happens. It happens.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just have a question here. It's by Ace Wee. So, sorry, he was asking, will a 24-inch 144 hertz monitor kill his personal laptop that has an i5 but has a GTX 1650? So, from what I don't have a gaming laptop, but it can, from what I hear from friends who do game on gaming laptops, it's definitely doable. I have friends who have GTX 1060s running on a 27-inch 165 hertz 144 hertz monitors. But of course, these are competitive games, so these are more of your esports games that can scale up or down depending on your needs. So you got Overwatch, you got Dota, and they're very adaptable to your power, to your hardware. So yes, I would say definitely a GTX 1650 will on the laptop will run a 144 hertz 24-inch monitor, especially if it's
Just be
1080.
sure.
So it won't
Just
kill
be
your
sure that the
it-
cooling is good.
it won't kill the laptop.
No. Yeah, especially if it's a gaming laptop that has a 1650 with decent cooling. Uh, Yeah, I mean 1650 is actually on the next gen na above 6. Medyo nauso yung high refresh rates even starting from 1060 at 1070.
It was
So no,
yeah, sorry, go ahead, RJ.
no, just go ahead.
I was just gonna say na it was Changala from the chat from YouTube who asked about the non-RGB case fans question. Pull up ko na. So be quiet or Noctua. It's our usual go-to recommendations for those guys. Next question. This is an AVR question. Basically, the AVR naka-stuck into the on position and then naka-red pa yung indicator light.
Holy shit.
So would that be safe to use? Anybody have any experience with that? Ako personally,
Seems to be fine. Just unplug it, hindi ba?
no, it's physically stuck. The switch is physically stuck in the on position.
Oh, then if you want to turn it off, i-unplug na lang. Hindi ba?
But why is it stuck?
Yeah, his concern
Oh.
more is safe ba yan gamitin?
Ah. Oh, I don't know.
Sabi ko, di naman ako electrician, but ako, I would still use it, but just unplug it if I'm not using it kasi you don't know, biglang
Oh, those
magka-spark.
things.
Diba?
I've had bad experiences nga with.
Go. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
really?
definitely had one that, or even a couple that had the power switch stuck to on. And yung mahirap dun is if it moves or gets kicked accidentally, it's gonna restart your PC para mawawalan siya ng power.
Ah.
So yeah, it will work. Just don't just make sure it's not moved. But if possible, have it repaired or just replace it.
But none of them, RJ, have, exploded naman or gone up in
No,
flames. Hindi
no,
naman.
no.
Okay.
It's just really parang loss of power connection, I guess. But yeah, it's not something you'd like to play with your hard drive and other components.
Yeah, because for it to be stuck, diba, something melted back there or something is blocking it, and if that something is metal or whatever or something conductive,
Short.
it could possibly short, pero baka lang nabuhusan ng coke or malagkit
no.
na something, pero he's saying it's stuck so how hard are you pushing?
It's like, baka mechanical.
Yeah, hindi ba major mechanical lang? I don't think it's a safety
Yeah, it's a
feature
parang-
of an AVR. I think
No.
it's just
No, I mean, it's a mechanical switch, diba? Pero that mechanical switch is still electronic. There's still electronics behind that. So why would it be stuck? Kasi while yung experience ko about power surges, it's not with AVRs but more yung mga extension cord na may power surge. So I did have one trip recently and matagal bago ko siya na reset. It wouldn't reset, and then when it finally reset, half of the extensions on switches had lights that were significantly dimmer than the rest. So whenever I plugged something in those outlets that had dim switches, parang may weird noise na nangyayari. So I'm a little
that's
I'm
scary.
a little iffy about physical changes with the outlets because something might happen.
But even if you plug in like normal appliances lang, like an electric fan or a light or a
electric
lamp.
fan yung sinaksa ko. There was a weird
That's may
noise.
weird noise. Oh, no. Skip. Takot na.
So, for for heavy duty stuff talaga, the Panther is really the best. I was disappointed with that. It was supposed to be a better, more upgraded power strip, but it has failed.
I hear nga a lot about the Panther for surge protectors.
Yeah.
We have a Panther, but as a extension cord.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can
Yung
also
mga
And-
power strips with surge protector.
Those are actually it's durable. I would always pick that over the regular extension cords, because we have a lot. Actually, it's very useful to have a lot of extension cords. You think you never need them, but you will. You'll always use
yeah.
all of them. It's like having an
Yes.
adapter. You need to
Yep.
have an adapter all the time. You think you don't need it, you'll need it. Trust me. You just
I
don't
have
know
like
when.
4 here.
Yeah, diba?
Shout out to John Wick, who always watches, and
Oh,
he's one
yeah,
of
John
our
Wick.
Okay.
one of our old one of the original guys. Next question. Was that the last question? I think no. This is the last question, I
You
think.
have an SSD.
Posible ba na pwede ma-affect sa HDMI port yung LED fans at LED strip? Simula po kasi nung naglagay ako nag no signal na kapag HDMI ginamit ko. So he had a PC without RGB, he put in RGB, and now no signal yung HDMI niya. Which is kind of weird. So that's why
Wow.
I've
I've never
never
experienced that.
yeah, I've kind of
Wait,
weird.
baka the HDMI port, this is on the motherboard?
Hmm.
Baka the HDMI port is dead.
Well,
Or
only,
is this an internal graphics card?
I didn't say kung ano eh.
Oo. I think we can let's assume na lang. Mukha nga. HDMI port.
Yeah, because he's trying.
Because it's I don't think it'll affect it if it's an external graphics card's HDMI port.
Or wait, baka this is a person who has a GPU and then thinks that any HDMI port will give vision display. It needs to be, if it's that one. If you have a GPU, you need to plug your HDMI port into the HDMI GPU port, not the HDMI MOBO. Parang I get a call at least once a week from an old customer na, bakit hindi na yan? Bakit hindi lumalabas yung display? In fact, most recently, it was just the other day. We had a message from someone who bought a PC from us, and then hindi lumalabas yung display. Ayun nga. I was like, automatic na. Did you put the HDMI in the HDMI port of the GPU? Okay. Yeah, it's ayos na. But yun nga, if the problem is na it's onboard graphics, the HDMI cable of the monitor should go into the motherboard because yun nga, wala yung GPU.
Right. I mean, that's hopefully that's not the assumption, but that has happened to me, and it has happened to friends. So let's say you take out the HDMI port, and then instead of returning it back to the HDMI of the graphics card, you actually inserted it to the onboard graphics port, and it's not turned on or that's not enabled. So maybe this it's as simple as that. I don't see a connection between the HDMI ports and LED fans.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably our best guess for this scenario.
Do you think medyo red herring yung RGB? Parang it had nothing to do with the problems. Parang nagkataon lang na around the same time, and then, or baka kasi he was installing the RGB and then kaya na-replug yung HDMI somewhere else?
We have someone on chat who has a theory na he's mentioning if it's a very very low quality HDMI cable, sometimes whenever pero he's talking about this light switch, when he turns on the light, it
Flicker?
nawawala ng signal. He's thinking probably due to EM, electromagnetic interference.
Like light switch in the room. Wow.
Yeah, that's from Miguel Lorenzo Santos. So actually, yeah, I did see some stuff about the light switch. I mean, the lights in a room affecting HDMI, but not LED. Pero you never know. It could be.
Oh, that's never. That's new. Pao from YouTube is asking what happened to the dead pixel in the monitor. We posted about this like a week ago. Na
Wait,
yeah. Sige.
I'm using
Yeah.
the dead pixel monitor. I don't see any dead pixels
Sana si
here.
dead pixel.
Oh no.
I'm telling you, walang dead pixel to. That's my mouse cursor.
So for those who don't know, a customer bought a monitor from us, 27 inches, and then binalik niya kaagad. Sabi niya may dead pixel. And because Hardware Sugar is a no BS warranty shop, we're like, okay, here's your money back. But we tried. We tested this in the shop. Rafael is using it now, and we really
Right.
cannot find the alleged dead pixel.
You'll easily
You
see
guys
it.
are too nice.
Oo
I
nga.
actually
There
don't know
are,
why we refunded him. Didn't we test
Eh,
this before we refunded him?
ikaw nag-approve nun eh. Mokom.
Ako?
Oo.
And even if there is a
Yeah.
dead pixel, even ASUS
Ah,
has limits on what they will refund.
Yeah,
he
usually it's
said
3 to 5 PX
Yes, it
if
has
it's
to be a
Yeah.
certain number.
number. Yeah. Pero
So one
Jeez.
is fine.
Okay.
pero
This is ages ago then. I know this. He sent me
oh,
a picture kasi before.
oh, ikaw na ganun yan eh. But ako for me, that whole pixel 3 to 5, parang as a customer kasi I'm like, it's like 3 to 5. And I'm not even that OC about my stuff. But as a customer, parang I think I'm kind of iffy. Like maybe it shouldn't one be enough. But
Yeah, dude, it's true. Kasi ako, I've had a dead pixel before. Isa lang yan. Oh my God. It was such a bother. Horrible. Horrible yan. I was playing Command and Conquer Tiberium Wars, and then I saw it immediately because the home screen of the game is black with Tiberium and shit. It was a great home screen. One of the greatest home screens in the game. And yun nga, this dot there, and you're like, yeah, that's the worst.
Annoying.
Isa lang yan, ah.
But there should be at least one. I mean, not
Yeah.
phantom phantom dead pixels.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's true. Well, anyway, this monitor is gonna go on sale for second hand.
Used
So,
in a YouTube. Used in our YouTube review.
Used in our YouTube review.
It's
Yeah.
144 hertz.
165. Sorry, the
Ayun.
144. Di ba 165?
No, you're right. 165 hertz. Sure.
Even better.
In fact,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I would keep the monitor if it was my regular screen size, which is
Size.
34 inches, but it's not.
Oh, yun.
So,
Si
I
Mark
will
gusto
watch out
rin.
on the
Yeah.
website.
And the guy you asked, Ace Wheel, if the 1650 will work on a high refresh rate monitor, here's
Oh,
your
yun.
chance.
Yeah. It will
Yeah,
work.
you could play
Yeah.
Counter-Strike Global Offensive with that refresh rate, I think.
Definitely.
I think that was the last. Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, we do. I think this is the last. From Linear Umlas. About SSDs. Do you have any recommended brand of SSDs? You guys, your favorites.
Oh, for me, I again, most of my insights more of experience than going down to technical. But when I did research, the Samsung Evo series really do have fast read and write speeds. I definitely felt it. That's why I made for context, I started off with, I think it was a green WD. So that was my very first SSD. And yeah, it was doing fine. I mean, I used it mostly for the OS. And then when I needed more space, I bought a 970, I believe, from Samsung. And immediately when I compared transferring files from the WD and from the Samsung to an external, it was night and day. So even from there, it made me want to try the games. So load times were faster, and eventually I swapped them. So now my OS is on also
yeah.
on
On the
Samsung,
Evo. Yeah.
right? And then backup na nga yung green. I think green's more of eco rin eh. So now I have SanDisk and two more Samsungs for my SSDs.
Wow. Well, actually, we are getting a review unit from Taiwan, T-Force, Team Group, diba?
Yeah.
Group.
Team
Yeah,
Group.
yeah.
Yeah.
Team Group is actually sending us an SSD for testing. It'll be my first time to use a Team Group SSD kasi usually I associate Team Group. Oh wait, no. Yeah, we do sell Team Group SSDs, but I've never actually used one myself. But
Team
I
Group
always
Elite.
I always like selling it to customers because it's cost effective, it's cheaper, and parang it's a safe brand. And yeah, no problem so far. So I'm curious to test it out myself. But yun nga, I'm right now I'm using a SanDisk also RJ, SanDisk and Samsung.
For me, it's not really about the brand per se if it's performance. I mean, you just have to see which one you're getting. Are you getting one of the older
Right.
TLCs or the newer QLCs?
The
So
lines.
most brands carry different types, so you can choose which one you need. Because the speed talaga, unless you're copying gigabytes of files, the speed won't really matter much. And except of course, there's this big debate about Intel 660p, the one that doesn't have a big cache or doesn't have a dedicated cache, so it could have performance issues if the drive gets full. But I guess that's true for most SSDs. But on terms of preference, because I'm the type of guy who's had a lot of hard disk failures, and it's always a big
You
headache.
you've had a hard time with hard disks.
Yeah, so I decide. So for my logic is, since I use my hard disk for quite a long time, I'm willing to pay the premium uh, for something that has less negative review. So for me, one negative review is often enough to turn me off. So most of my SSDs are Samsung Evos,
Mm.
850s and 860. Yeah.
And they haven't failed
Oh,
you.
they haven't failed me, but I do have. There's something weird that's going on. I mean,
Oh,
the benchmark tool, the read write speed, my 850 is faster than my 860,
860.
which isn't supposed to be the
Oh,
case. I don't
wow.
know why. My
Sorry, I'll just jump in really quickly. Juke Lord, thank you for dropping in the chat, and yes, I'm glad that that case got to you, even though the Ninja Van lost it originally, and
Oh
we had
shit.
sent you another one. We confirmed that we received payment already for your next purchase, so thank you for again buying another more stuff from us, even though nadali nga yung una mo. So we'll get back to you tomorrow morning. Promise. Sorry, Marv.
no,
You.
I
Awesome.
was pretty much done. So that's my preference. I go for Samsung.
we do usually recommend Samsung as top of the line, and yun nga, if you don't wanna give yourself headaches later on. Although I do like Crucial a lot. Crucial's good value for money, and
Mm.
they're very the MX line, MX 500, or is a very good performance. We do sell the Team Group NVMe SSDs, MP33 and MP34. We don't have personal experience, but nobody has come back to complain. So mukhang good value nga sila.
But
Team
you,
Group.
you crucial na yan. Parang we barely stock them now eh. Parang do we stock them regularly
I
or
want to, but the supplier is always out of that line na I
out?
like, the MX. Yung BX kasi yung mas budget line nila na medyo but the MX is very good value for money. Um,
Anton,
hmm.
could you ask your suppliers, your SSD card suppliers, I mean, how they deal with warranty claims? Because I did read up on some horror stories for some brands where, let's say, the warranty is 5 years and then it breaks at third year or something. They won't give you a new unit. They'll just give you a prorated price, which
Ah,
for me kind of sucks. So something you might want to check in case, especially since you'll be the one biting the bullet
yeah.
if you warranty
it it's always the shop. Although
yeah.
uh well, I can ask the suppliers about the SSDs because to be honest, we've never had to send any SSD back, so I don't know how that would work. On our warranty, we have a shop warranty of 1 year, but our terms are if the manufacturer has a longer warranty period, then we will assist you with claiming from the manufacturer. But yun nga, it would beyond 1 year, it really depends on what the manufacturer wants to give you or is inclined how the manufacturer interprets its warranty. So mas secure ka dun sa 1 year namin na shop, and yun nga, we've paulit-ulit yung mga kwento namin na, oh yeah, sige, refund, dead pixel. Wala palang dead pixel.
I'm looking
Ah,
at that dead pixel nga
so
monitor.
we take the no BS warranty very seriously.
Did you run the dead pixel tests, Rocky?
I
There's
did. In
okay.
fact nga, nakaka-epileptic attack nga yung dead pixel test na yan eh.
flashing.
Old school test sa akin eh. MS Paint.
No, you know what, RJ, I used naman at least yun, desktop wallpaper, you switch colors. It's almost the
No,
same thing.
I did that for a monitor back in 2004. I found dead fixes.
Effective naman. You're able to find, yeah.
Of course, medyo nagpaano.
I think you bought that you must have bought that monitor from Park Square One when all the
Yes,
computer
sir.
stops were still there, no? That's where I think you told me. I think you told me that I get my monitor there, and then I got the monitor there. Nga.
Right.
We do have a question from the chat. Nel Chris asks, ask ko lang about sa GPU na problema kasi ako, kada 2 years nasisira. May lifespan ba yung GPU?
Wow.
Meron, but it's not 2 years. I mean, you might expect,
Yeah.
and
No.
I mean,
Baka mainit yung kwarto mo.
40 degrees, kahit hindi summer.
Oo.
Unfortunately, yun lang yung sinabi niya. So, walang brand, walang how he uses it. But kung GPU mining yun, I mean, yes, maybe every 2 years kasi sobrang
2
intense
years,
ng mining. But even heavy gaming, like streamer ka, 16 hours a day, 17 hours, it should last longer than
Yeah,
2 years.
it should.
Yeah.
Yeah,
mean,
I agree.
Like even if let's say you do see the performance being hit, it's just a very it's very minimal, I would say. In my experience, would say it. I think the longest one I had was a 1070 for 4 years, and
Oh. The video.
All right, there we go.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe.
4 years. I think every GPU should at least aim for 4 years. I mean, just to be fair, no?
Yeah, or more. I mean, I think it was still very healthy when I sold it. I sold it because I got the 5700 XT from you guys. So there was really no issue, and yeah, I think generally it should last 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, kasi when people buy well, because there are two kinds of people who buy a really great ass rig and then they expect to let it last for 5 years, or the people who just upgrade every year but a different part. I think
Right.
I think the GPU should last at least average of 4 years. I've never had a GPU die on me. In fact, the one
Yeah.
that re-dies on me regularly is the power supply unit.
Yeah.
And
That
of
really
course,
bothers me.
yeah, power supply unit. And of course, and regardless of kung magandang brand yan. And then also the mobos, the motherboards, ports for whatever reason, like the HDMI port. Some ports don't work.
Napatingin tuloy ako sa PC ko.
Like what's not working?
Okay ka lang. Yeah, mine's hard drives for sure.
Palagi nasisira.
More prone.
I used to have issues with, actually, ako RAM, and it's always this one brand. So parang the next time I buy a new PC, I'm gonna iwas ako dun sa RAM brand na yan. Parang nakakahalata na ako eh.
You don't want to say the RAM brand kasi we said it.
Oh,
We do sell it, yes. A lot of them, and they're
Maybe
very
you're
famous.
just the unlucky one.
Did you
No,
sell it
your
to me
parts are
too?
old. Eh.
Actually, I can't remember. Parang hindi. No, yeah. I think we did, Barb. Parang you come to us in 2 years or so. 3 years. Alam mo na. And yeah, that brand, we have RGB also, and we've had to twice people have come back kasi yung RGB niya, parang yung sa tip dun sa isang stick, hindi nagbabago yung kulay. The color doesn't change. So we've had to replace.
Red pixel.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Essentially,
yung
parang red
RGB?
pixels, RGB sa RAM. But our suppliers good naman about it. So we just issue the replacement kaagad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that same
Bad
brand.
batch.
So I don't
But
know.
if it's that brand, my old computer uses that brand. And
It's okay.
it ran for 10 years, man. So
Wow. You telling me that
Yeah.
RAM ran for 10 years?
yeah,
Oh
that's why I have
gosh.
12 gigabytes of RAM. I bought 2x2, and then when I bought 8x8, I still kept the 2x2. So that one is 10 years.
I don't know. I might try team. Oh, so it's not team group. I might be actually tempted by the team group guys. RAM.
Well, yeah, actually, why don't you do the review for that?
The extreme. The No, but I can't. Wala.
But you
I
can't.
don't have
You
a
can't,
DDR4.
you're not video editing.
Yeah, and I don't. My mobile isn't DDR4, so Di ko rin
Oh my God, it's not DDR4.
Yeah, I'm still DDR.
Your mobile isn't DDR4. What the
No, my PC's old, okay? Kawawa,
Maybe
kawawa
Ian,
dito.
maybe you should have just bought a new PC over a new router.
I know,
Okay,
yeah.
customers, someone buy a new motherboard and then falsely
can-
claim a warranty claim.
Yeah,
So,
so,
Anton will have a
Yan na lang
stock.
kunin ko. Yan na lang kukunin ko. Next year. Although on the Dead Pixel front, Arthur Vitug from YouTube does say, the monitor is using now may Dead Pixel, pero tinamad na siyang ibalik. Pero ngayon, naayos. Hindi na niya mahanap yung Dead Pixel and he doesn't know
Yeah, there are
how
ways
it
to
happened.
fix it eh.
Ah,
What?
yeah, you gotta
How can
flash
that
it,
be?
di ba? Parang you can flash the screen.
Really?
There are degrees. There are software fixes, and if you're really, really brave and careful, there are hardware fixes.
Yung
too on the
eraser,
Pixel.
yung kinda,
Eraser,
yeah.
credit
Eraser.
card,
Oh.
fingernail.
Oh my God, I've never heard of that.
Actually, I have an old TV, hindi monitor. And then there's right in the middle, there's a noticeable halo. So there's a portion of the screen is lighter. Pero wala, tinamad na ako. So I still use it naman all the time. And okay pa naman siya. So, at a certain point, you just gotta kind of like, okay pa na, okay na yan. I'm looking. Actually, so we are at the end of the show. We've hit our usual 1 hour 30. I'm just looking for other questions that I wanted to Oh, actually, sige, let's end with this one. Vin Erin from Facebook, I think, asks, do any of you guys play Hades? I think it's a rogue type game.
Oh, not yet. I see a lot of friends play it though.
Mala
We'll
Diablo.
try it.
I mean, it's like yung isometric, 3D
Yeah, like the
isometric.
aesthetic. Oh yeah, I think the concept.
Vin
More
Erin has
fantasy
actually
than
been
Phasmophobia.
he's been pushing us to try it. Although to be honest, I never played Diablo. I'm not a fan.
Me also. I know I played
Oh.
Diablo 2,
No, you
but I
had
never finished it.
Yeah.
It's fun to play with people with your friends.
Yeah, apat tayo.
Yeah, we should
We
do
can
a
stream that.
Yeah.
we should do a game stream na yung
Should be
pwede
fun.
Four of us.
Yeah.
Hack and slash.
Yeah, while we're hacking, like we can still answer questions. Like
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Oh yeah, yung Onion, maybe check mo yung yung megahertz na nagsusupport ng MOBO at saka yung CPU.
Oh, I'm down for that. Okay yun, okay yun.
Overclock mo yan. And then while we're
Ay, yan baka pwede pa because, it's like Diablo style so you can auto attack. You can just leave it.
Right,
Control A or control left click ba yung dati. Basta, mga ganun.
Yeah, kung mag-COD kami ni Marvin,
Sorry, I think
baka di
that's
na kaya,
it. Ragnarok pala yan yung control A or control something. Basta,
Or even that game RJ plays, that Phantasma thing. That sounds interesting.
sige. Oh, I haven't played that
All
one.
game. All game yan.
Yan yung next pwede magtanong.
Oh, yan.
Ah.
Horror mode.
Pwede
Or
magtanong while gaming.
Oh.
Yun,
It needs to be a game though that Anton's PC can work with. We have to
Yeah,
work around
yeah.
that.
Kaya yun.
Naka-crossfire ako I mean, RX 460. I can
Old school.
Yeah. Actually, we only have one pwede magtanong left for the year. Because we do 2 a month. We start in September. This is the 7th episode. So actually, this is already our first episode for December. So we only have one left for the year. Yeah, why don't we go out to the bank? We could do something like that.
Also,
Oh,
sige.
okay.
Let's test the streaming first.
Yeah.
Oo.
Oh.
Yeah. Sige. Okay. Actually, sorry. I just want to answer one last question. May nagtanong kasi. Wait. So, John Gatchalian asks, paano mag-apply sa computer store nyo? Sorry, we just actually hired somebody new, so we're not looking right now. But thanks for the interest. And there is one more question. Yes. Aaron from YouTube asks, Sir, may shop po ba kayo? Yes, Hardware Sugar is a shop. We have a shop in Makati. Our website is there on the lower left part of the screen, hardwaresugar.ph.
But you can also go to Google Maps and type in Hardware Sugar, and we're the only ones that show up.
We are like the
Yun.
first 8 hits on Google from between the YouTube,
Yeah.
the Facebook, Lazada, Shopee, our own site. I mean, hardware. Yeah, type in Hardware Sugar.
May
may
grab
pop-up.
address na yan.
Yeah.
My
oh,
grab address nga.
we are
Oo.
legit. So, Yeah, so Aaron, we are a shop. Actually, we were a shop first. Itong YouTube na to, I don't know, parang naging sideline na lang namin. But yeah, that's the end of the show. Thanks so much for watching. Yeah, let's see it. Let's try to get that gaming thing going. But I don't know how many questions I don't know how many questions we'll get.
Dalawa lang.
Yeah,
Hours, dalawa lang.
Well, as you could see,
yeah,
orcs.
Ayun,
Damn
ayun.
orcs.
But thanks for watching. Stay safe. Happy long weekend.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, sorry, and I will plug the other shows before we go. Tomorrow, Rafael will be interviewing the StarCraft 2 champion, Caviar, aka Ender. He's the best
Nice.
SC2
Who's the Ender?
SC2 player in the Philippines and probably in the region. I mean, he's like tops gold medalist sa SEA Games and really hardcore StarCraft 2 player. Rafael does play SC2 also, so he'll be asking about all the tactics and things like that. On Sunday is back to the live from the shop. We're just talking about new stock and mga kwento tungkol sa warranty, kwento tungkol sa mga makulit na customers, and a lot of you guys actually haven't been to the shop kasi you order online. No problem, we make it super easy to order online. So live from the shop is a nice way to actually see the shop kasi sinadya talaga namin yung shop design, like easy to pick up the items, easy to see, and very open. Easy to ask people if you need help, and we try to make it really very different from the run-of-the-mill PC store. And in December, yun nga, sorry, I have to readjust the schedule kasi isa na lang pala yung pwede magtanong for the year. Actually, we can do a bonus pwede magtanong, but I don't know, baka nakakatamad na sa December, so we'll see. But we'll go out with a bang. We'll try that gaming idea. Then we do have in the industry and the shop again, but this schedule will probably change. So please do tune in Saturday, Sunday. Have a good weekend. Stay safe. Thanks for watching.
Thanks,
Bye,
guys.
guys.
Bye,
Happy
guys.
weekend.